Well, hello, and welcome to the Australian Digital Alliance's Copyright Forum of 2021, our first virtual forum. I'm joining you today from the auditorium here at the National Library of Australia, where we would normally be gathering for our in-person Copyright Forum. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the Ngunnawal people, the traditional owners of the land on which the NLA sits. On behalf of the ADA, I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Copyright, as we know, is a legal protection designed to encourage the sharing of knowledge, ideas and culture. It is important to recognise and respect that Indigenous peoples the world over have been sharing knowledge through networks for hundreds of thousands of years. Australia has a long and rich history of storytelling, starting with our First Peoples, and I would like to recognise and acknowledge that history today. Well, this year we've decided to run the forum a little differently. Like many other aspects of our lives, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced us to adapt our annual Copyright Forum into this new virtual format. In fact, there are few aspects of our lives that haven't been challenged by the coronavirus pandemic this year, and the copyright world has not been immune. From the sudden closure of physical venues to endless Zoom meetings, the way in which we consume and create copyright material has undergone a radical shift over the past 12 months. For many users, accessing digitised content during the pandemic has not been easy, and in some cases, it has simply been impossible. What's more, recent flooding causing the closure of schools across New South Wales, as well as the snap lockdowns that we've seen across the country already this year, remind us that issues of online access will continue to crop up until much needed reform is achieved. For this reason, the ADA has been very supportive of the government's proposed copyright access reforms, which are designed to address many of these issues. As Minister Fletcher stated when announcing the reforms, these reforms provide clear and reasonable public interest access to copyright material while maintaining the incentives and protections for content creators. The reforms follow many years of extensive industry consultation, from the Australian Law Reform Commission's review of copyright back in 2012 to the Productivity Commission's inquiry and the Copyright Modernisation Review in 2018. Broadly, the reforms will introduce a limited liability scheme for the use of orphan works, as well as a fair dealing exception for non-commercial quotation. They will simplify and update the copyright exceptions for education and cultural institutions, making these far more practical for the digital age. And they will streamline the government's statutory licensing scheme. In light of these reforms, the focus of the Copyright Forum this year will be access. How has the pandemic affected users accessing content remotely, and what are the changes needed to address these challenges? Going forward, how do we adapt our copyright laws to suit an increasingly digital world? Over the next 2 weeks, we will be diving into these questions with help from our expert speakers joining us from the UK, Singapore and Australia. We will bring you a mix of pre-recorded presentations like this that you're able to watch on demand, which will be followed up with extended Q&A webinars with our speakers that will allow plenty of room for discussion. So with that, thanks for watching this short introductory video, and I look forward to seeing you at some of the live sessions that kick off on the 27th of April. See you there.